All right, welcome back. We are now in the end of July and about a week and a half away from preseason starting officially. Um, the on ice preseason, I should say. And I thought, you know what? Let's go through each team's roster because by now most of them should be complete. So we'll look at each team and see what they've lost, what they've gained. Try to value that. Maybe I don't know because it's very hard to judge sometimes, um, just by the players coming in, etc. But we will have a look and see if we can form some kind of prediction for the final standings. Um, So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a longer video, but just bear with me here. So we'll start in the north, Luleå, and that's not what I wanted. Luleå. Actually, let's just go alphabetical order. Brynäs. So they got Colin Delia, 31-year-old goalie from believe he's American. Yep, he's from California. 6'2", so 188 centimeters, pretty decent sized goalie. But one thing to note is he has never played on a big rink, as you can see here. So he's coming to Brynäs as this star goalie, but he's never played on a big rink. It's gonna be different angles. It's gonna be maybe a little bit tough in the beginning. Um, but we'll see. That's I'm sure the goalie coach in Brynäs will help him with that. But yeah, it might take a bit of an adjustment period before he gets up to speed with what a big rink feels like for the goalie. Um, so Colin Delia and Erik Källgren is injured until early 2026, it says. So basically, they only have one goalie, I guess. Um, Same with Simon Bertilsson. They've got Mattias Norlinder. He played with Modo. Um, he did pretty well. He was probably the standout player in Modo, if I'm honest. Definitely a good. He's listed as a two-way defenseman, but I would say he's more of an offensive defenseman at the SHL level. But he's only scored 4 goals, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. He's usually a pretty good threat in terms of like creating offense. So he's a very good addition for Brynäs. And then on the forward side, they've lost quite a few. Michel Sverschek is still there. Leo Sundqvist is a young player, 18 years old as well. Greg Scott. I don't know if Greg Scott is retiring or why isn't his number up there. But let's see, who else did they gain? Kiefer Bellows, Connor Murphy. Oh, that's a rumor. Okay, so they might have 2 American goalies coming in. Connor Murphy is the same thing. He's only ever played on the smaller North American rinks. So if they were to bring him in, that would be an adjustment period for both of their goalies. Interestingly, uh, Michal Kempny, I do recognize that name. Let's have a look. 34 years of age. Yes, I recognize him because he's played in the NHL for a bit. Um, and then he turned back to Czechia after being sent down in Washington. He got sent down to AHL Hershey Bears, and then he got traded. Played 2 games before turning back to Czechia in 2022, and then he's been playing there and producing pretty well. I think 28 points in 35 games, and then 31 points. Then he fell off a cliff, I guess, but significantly less games played. So I don't know if that was due to injury or something else, but 34 years of age. He brings NHL experience, so and also KHL. If I'm not, no, he's never played in KHL. My bad. He did one season, 59 games, 21 points. It's okay. It's like .3 average points per game. So 1 point every 3 games. It's okay for a defenseman. All right, looks pretty good. They lost Victor Sällström, obviously, to Boston. They traded his rights. Is Axel Jonsson Fjällby? Did he join this summer? Yeah, okay. So he was a NHL regular. I don't know why he got sent down. I mean, he barely scored any points. That might be why, to be honest. 14 points in 50 games is not impressive. But he only played bottom 6 minutes. So it could just be deployment. But he's been in the AHL for the last 2 seasons pretty much, and now he's turning back. So that's going to be interesting. He's 27. He's in his prime. At this level, he could be a scoring winger even. Over there, obviously, most Swedish players are just put it in the bottom six to be solid PK two-way guys. Um, so, but yeah, I don't know why some of these guys are missing numbers, even though they were here last year. So we'll just move on, I guess. Kiefer Bellows, let's have a look at him before we move on. So, USA, Canada. He's born in Minnesota. Left winger. Got picked number 19 in 2016. So he flopped, I guess you could say. He never reached the heights that he expected to. Kiefer Bellows is a skilled power forward who can dominate games, possesses high-end puck handling ability, as well as a crisp, accurate release on his shot. Proficient forechecker and loves to win puck battles, which stands out as a consistent part of his game. Strong skater who can bowl through the opposition to go around them. Tries to net hard and is a decisive finisher. All in all, a competitor who punishes the opposition physically as well as on the scoreboard. So that was the scouting report in 2016. Now that's obviously a long time ago now, but he's probably still a skilled power forward at this SHL level, right? So they are bringing some even more physicality. I was actually surprised. Brynäs was actually quite physical. So they're bringing even more physicality and puck handling skills into their roster, and he's only 27 as well. So he's only just now entering his prime. He scored 49 points in 52 games with the Toronto Marlies in 23-24. And then I don't know what happened. He got the chance to play with Nashville last year and didn't do much of anything. And then he absolutely tore up the AHL with the Milwaukee Admirals, and then now he's moving here. I'm surprised, actually. I think I'm genuinely surprised that he's turning to Europe. If Brynäs gets both Bellows and the other guy, whatever the name was, where is he? If both Bellows and Axel Jonsson Fjällby turns out to be studs, then I mean, they still have Jakob Silfverberg. It's rumored that Bäckström is coming. This is the best team in the league again. Depending on their goalies, they have a goalie situation that I'm not too fond of, but this is like on paper, this roster is insane for the SHL level. Absolutely insane. Okay, let's move on. That's enough dwelling on Brynäs, to be honest. Djurgården, the newcomers this year. They advanced after winning the Hockeyallsvenskan finals against AIK. They have acquired Magnus Hellberg, a very respectable goalie, 34 years of age. He's been mostly in the AHL the last few years. He was acquired by my team in the NHL as a third option, as a backup for the 23-24 Stanley Cup run for Florida Panthers. As you can see here, he played 8 games with Charlotte Checkers. Did okay. Not too impressive save percentage, but it does depend on the team in front. And then he got traded to Dallas, or he just signed a new contract with Dallas, I guess. And he played 41 games with Texas Stars, 904 save percentage is decent, 2.69 goals against average, again, pretty decent, 24, 14, and 1 record. Again, I'm surprised that at 34, maybe not surprised considering his age, but yeah, he's turning back to Sweden and Djurgården and to be a starter. He's definitely Djurgården's number one. And then Hugo Havelid, a young goalie. I think he was he not in Örebro before? No, he was in. Okay, so he used to belong to. Yeah, he was in Linköping Juniors, and then he was playing with Djurgården 2 years ago. Oh, okay, so he's just staying. He's actually played the last 2 years. He's actually played with Djurgården, and very good numbers. I mean, the first year he only played 16 games. It's hard to judge, but 24-7, and then it was very solid in the qualification games to advance. I think, yeah. I mean, he's only 21 years of age. He's a little bit short, not gonna lie. I don't think he's going to reach NHL level. Um, that's the only issue for shorter goalies is like you can't really be everywhere at once. But at this level, he should be a great performer. I know there are other short goalies that have been performing very well, but yeah, there are exceptions to every rule, right? So, and he's the twin brother of Matthias Havelid. Just a side note. But yeah, solid goaltending, I think, in Djurgården. I don't know much of these. Joey Legia, I do recognize he's been in Sweden before. He was in HV71 last year, scored 3 goals and 23 assists for 26 points in 33 games, was a -15. But he scored more than 1 point a game in the relegation series. So pretty solid. I mean, -15 is not impressive, but he's been a pretty solid performer. He's steadily declining, obviously, in the points, but he's a good pickup for Djurgården, that's for sure. And then Jakob Ragnarsson, Colby Sissons, is that a new acquired? Nope, he's still there from last year. I don't know the roster from last year, so I don't know whether Victor Eklund and Anton Fondell will stay here or if they're going to play NHL right away. I think for their development, it would be a good idea to stay in Sweden for at least a year, play some men's hockey at the highest Swedish level. They do have some older guys, experienced guys, Linus Klasen, Marcus Kryger, Ludwig Rensfeldt has been on at this level before. He's played with Rögle and with Malmö, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so he played with us in Hockeyallsvenskan, and then he moved to Rögle, and then played with Rögle in the SHL as well, 2015, 2016, all the way to 2018, and then he moved to Timrå Örebro and dropped down with Djurgården, and then has stayed loyal all the way through Hockeyallsvenskan the last 3 years, and then now they're back. So I guess the new guys are Joi Snively and Jesse Ylönen. Let's have a look at these guys. So, 29 years of age, never played on the big rink, so that's another thing. Performed pretty well in the AHL, mainly with Hershey Bears, 59 points in 69 games. 47 points in 72 games is, I don't know. It's not that impressive for a forward, but depends on where he was deployed. Prominent offensive presence whenever he is on the ice, exhibits a hunger for loose pucks and can carry it himself into the slot. Not the biggest body, but doesn't shy away from bigger bodies to create opportunities. Very accurate shot which jumps off his stick. Excellent passer and proficient puck skills. So he's a playmaker. That's what I would call it. He's a playmaker, and he has a pretty accurate shot. Excellent pass and proficiency. So maybe a two-way forward. I don't know. If he's decent defensively, he's needs to recognize transition chances starting in his own end and the neutral zone quicker, and always be a factor in defensive as well as offensive play. Okay. I don't know when this was written, but this sounds like a playmaker to me more so than a two-way forward. But we'll see. We'll see what he can do in on a big rink. Might take some time before he gets going. Jesse Ylönen, Finland and US. So he's born in Scottsdale, but he obviously has a Finnish. His dad was Juha Ylönen, an extremely agile forward and quick stick handler who likes to play the game at a high pace. Okay, so again, another playmaker. He's played in Liga before, played in the juniors in Finland as well. And then he's played the last 5-6 years in the NHL and AHL, so but he never really broke through. It looks like 32 points in 39 games is good. But on the NHL level, he never really came through completely. 8 points in 59 games, it's not impressive. So at the NHL level, not good. At the AHL level, pretty decent, I guess. So we'll see what he can do on a big rink in a defensive league. Because you have to remember, it's one thing putting up points in Liga, right? I don't know that he was a point player in Liga either. Obviously this is a long time ago, but 27 points in 53 games, that's half a point a game pace. Again, less than half a point a game pace. Obviously, he was much younger then, but I guess we'll see what he can do in Djurgården. I guess we're done there. I don't know any of the other ones, to be honest. It will be a surprise, I guess. Let's move on to Frölunda. Frölunda has the same pairing in net as they had last year. Lars Johansson continues. He's 38 years of age. Will he be playing as many games as he has been doing the last couple of years? I don't know. I think he might need to take less amount of games and let Tobias Newman be like a 1A 1B type situation probably. 23 years of age there. He's got quite a bit of experience already because he's played in Swedish junior and done very well in Färjestad, and then he played in Norway for a bit, and then he came back to Sweden, got loaned, did very well, won 2 out of the 3 games he got loaned to Färjestad for, and then last year he had a 2.17 goals against average and 912 save percentage and a 13-8 record in 22 games. I think that's good. I think the problem was playoffs, probably like 875. But in the regular season numbers looks good for him. So it's the trajectory looks pretty much up for him. Let's look at the defensive core. It looks pretty much the same. Henrik Tömmernes, Tom Nilsson, Linus Högberg, Isak Hens, Filip Hasa, Christian Folin. Fucking hate that guy. Dominic Igley. I don't know that Dominic Igley put any impressions on me, to be honest. I think he was a bit of a. Yeah, he scored 18 points in 38 games. He was injured for a good chunk of the season, I guess. I don't think that he did anything spectacular. He was I guess, a solid 2-way guy because he was plus minus 0. But yeah, I would have expected more considering he was like putting up 35 points in 45 games. Like he was plus 18 in HC Davos, and then he comes to Sweden. So that's just goes to show that just because you put up numbers in another European league doesn't mean you can do the same in Sweden. In the SHL, it's a lot more defensive minded. So let's move on to their forward core. Is there any changes here? So we have Linus Weissbach. He comes back from Buffalo Sabres. Oh, he played last year. Okay. 32 points. Yeah, so he came back. He's got a surgery. So he's set to return in October, November, and then it will take probably a month or so to get back up to speed. Gustav Rydahl, he's sidelined indefinitely from a back injury, so that's a problem for them to solve. Max Vestergaard, did they get any other? Jere Innala, was he here last year? I don't remember. No, he was in Colorado Eagles. That's what I thought. So he took the chance to play with Colorado. Played 17 games, 0 points. Only a -3. Considering he put up 0 points, only a -3 in 17 games. That's pretty good. Colorado Eagles, though, 28 points in 43 games. Decent, but not super impressive. So what should we expect from him this year? Probably around 30 points again. But if he play a full season, probably 35 points from him. Jere Innala, he's just entering his prime as well, at 27 years of age. So, very shifty player. One to keep an eye out for. Artur Ruotsalainen, did he play in Frölunda last year? I don't remember. He did. 22 points in 43 games. Again, he was injured a lot of the season. -11. Not great defensively. Okay. Fair enough. Again, he didn't put much of an impression on me as a non-supporter of the team. Ivar Stenberg is going to be very interesting to watch. He is a draft. Is he draft eligible or did he get drafted this past June? Yeah, top prospect eligible for the next year's entry draft. Yeah. So he's going to be like if he does a great job this coming year, then then he's going to go high in the draft. This year is a big year for Ivar Stenberg. Um, I mean, Frölunda is always up there somehow, but there's nothing really that stands out to me. They have pretty much the same guys, except Gustav Rydahl is obviously long-term injured, sidelined indefinitely, and Linus Weissbach is going to return later in the season. October, November is, to be fair, it's still at the beginning of the season, so if he comes back in October, that's only like a month gone, like 4 to 6 weeks. Is what he misses from the season. That's fine considering he's got a shoulder surgery. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would expect them to somehow be top six. Um, New head coach, that could be a difference maker, both negatively and positively. We'll see. Let's move on to Färjestad. Um, so they have acquired Emil Larmi from Växjö. He's played a long time in Växjö. He knows Swedish hockey well, and he was absolutely fucking outstanding that first year. That first full year, 31 games, 1.62 goals against average. He had 8 shutouts, 9.34 save percentage. Absolutely fucking insane. And again, he was insane in the playoffs as well. Crazy stuff. Not quite as good as the year before, but still very, very nice numbers. And then he trickled off a little bit again, but Växjö was also a worse team. So how much is that of his performance and how much is that the team in front just not being quite as good defensively? Don't know. He's moving to Färjestad, and I mean, he's not even 30 yet. He's 28, so he's only going to get better as well. That's the scary part, right? Like, he's already been putting up career numbers, but he's only going to get better over the next 4 or 5 years. So, Färjestad really has a good acquired player here. Let's look at Melker Thelin, a youngster. He is drafted by Utah Mammoth and prospect. Played with IF Björklöven in the juniors and then moved to Brynäs HC to play men's hockey in the third tier. And then got loaned to SHL Färjestad. Played one game, 5 goals against, 7.73 save percentage. You can't judge anything on that. Then he went back to juniors for a few games and played last year in Hockeyallsvenskan. Had a 16-6-0 record, 908 save percentage, 3 shutouts, and 2.56 goals against average in 23 games. Did very well. By his own numbers, he did very well in the qualification. Unfortunately, they lost the qualification. That didn't go through. But yeah, solid numbers. I think SHL is going to be a step up, so we'll see what he can do. But it's going to be very interesting. Only 20 years of age as well. He's got the future ahead of him. It's very clear that Emil Lamy is the number one goalie, and then they will give Melker Thelin some very like hand-picked games where to give him the best chance to succeed, to get his feet wet in the SHL level. They have quite a few new players. Albert Wikman, Filip Roos, Noel Franzén, Gabriel Karlsson. So Gabriel Karlsson, I know he is yeah, because he played 2 years ago. He played in Växjö, then he went to the Swiss league, Played there last year, and then now he comes back to the Swedish league. So last time he scored 26 points in 45 games. I would expect around 25 to 30 points again. Solid two-way guy. Defensively very good. A very good acquisition for Färjestad. Noel Franzen, I don't know him. He's from their own academy or juniors. So, offensive defenseman, that could be something to look out for. Philip Roos, he played the last 3 years in the AHL, and now he's turning back. He played, the last time he played in the SHL was with Skellefteå. He scored 6 points in 50 games. I think he's a defensive, is he a defensive guy? 6'4", yeah, so a big, very big defenseman. And yeah, he doesn't score very many points, but he's a solid defensive defenseman, and should be helpful on a otherwise pretty offensive-minded team, I think. Färjestad in general usually is quite offense heavy. So Wikman, I think he played. No, he hasn't played yet, but he is signed. No, he's not signed. He's drafted by Florida Panthers. He was loaned to Hockeyallsvenskan, played 47 games, scored 5 goals and 3 assists for 8 points. I don't know what to make of that. I mean, he's only 20 years of age, so I guess that's very few minutes. It would be helpful to see like played minutes per game or something, like average ice time. But yeah, he's a youngster they've had in their academy, and then they loaned him out for some men's hockey. He's done that very well, considering that they're having him as in the team first up this year. Let's look at. I mean, they still have Magnus Nygren. They have Adam Molas Mattsson, solid guy. Axel Bergqvist. August Hornberg. I guess their additions on the forward side is Kristoffer Jansson and Radim Sohona, and the Sohona brothers we know pretty well from before when they played with. Didn't they play? Actually, no. It was probably his brother that played. Oh, he has 2 brothers. Okay, that's confusing. So maybe it was his brothers that played with Oskarshamn, because this guy has not played in the SHL at all. So he played quite a few years, 2 or 3 years in North America, and then came back to Europe. Played with HC Lugano, 22 points in 39 games, so about half a point a game player. Comes to Färjestad now to. I mean, he's a big guy. Oh my God, almost 2 meters tall, 29 years of age. They're making themselves a little bit bigger. That could be interesting. Färjestad has changed their approach a little bit. They used to be like speedsters, very like fast team, but now I would assume that when you're this size, that on the ice you're going to be a little bit slower, right? So we'll see what he can do, but it looks like Färjestad is changing their DNA a little bit with their again another big centerman, 192 centimeters, 90 kilograms, 27 years of age. He's been acquired from Karlskoga. He played hockey. He played the 3rd tier for I don't know how long. 1, 2, 3, 4 years. 4 years he played 3rd tier hockey. Got picked up by BK Karlskoga for 1 year. Played very well. 36 points in 52 games is very, very good. going from the third tier. And I mean, he's a point a game player in the qualifications. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty solid. I would assume bottom six guy, but we'll see. We'll see what he can do. Kristoffer Jansson is definitely someone to keep an eye on. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same guys. Huel Kellman, Victor Lodin, Linus Johansson obviously is the captain. Lucas Forsell, Jack Berglund, Emil Alba. Is that a new guy? Nope, he was there last year. He scored 1 point. He scored 1 goal all year, and he only played 30 games too, so he must be a depth guy. Net, front presence, physical forward. Okay, yeah, that's enough. I probably haven't seen him play because he was not in the lineup or something. All right, let's move on to HV71. They played Modo in the qualifications to stay up, and they managed to do so. And for right now, they have 3 goalies. I don't know what they're doing with that. So what are their new acquisitions? Let's have a look. So Niklas Hansson, Justin Klus, Axel Rindell, Nikola Pasic, Alexei Heponiemi, Lucas Rusek. Okay, so they've pretty much swapped out the whole team, I guess you could say. But let's start with those and go from there. So Justin Klus, we do know of him. He's played in Swedish hockey before. He played in Leksand the last 4 years. He had a high of 33 points in 52 games, 18 goals, 15 assists last year. But before then, he's never played a single season fully without being injured and being out. So it's 22, 27, 24, 33. So he had a high of 33 points. Can he build off of that? I don't know. We'll have to see if he regresses, if he gets injured, or if he plays another full season. Then that could be a 35 to 40 point player if everything goes right. We'll see. Niklas Hansson. He is originally from Rögle. I'm not the biggest fan of them. Let's just say that. But he's also played in HV71. He played 2015 to 2017, then went away to Texas Stars when they won the championship, and then he comes back for the miserable years, and then he's been away for 1, 2, 3, 4 years, and now he comes back again. So he's been between HV71 and Rögle all the time. Those are the 2 clubs he's played for in Sweden. So what can we expect from him? I guess around the same as last time, 20, 25 points-ish. Solid right shot defenseman, offensively skilled, good hockey sense. Good on the power play. Defensive game, I guess, is his weakness. I don't know. This was written in 2013, so he might have improved on his defensive game and decision making since then. We'll see. Axel Rindell, I think he was in Leksand. Yes, he was in Leksand. Before then, he was in Timrå. So he regressed quite a bit in Leksand compared to Timrå. So 25 points in 50 games, that's half a point a game. That's fine for a defenseman, but then he regressed all the way back to 15 points. Now, obviously, that could be the rest of the team or something else, but uh, the biggest difference here is actually 9 goals that he didn't score. So, you know, what can we expect? I think 20 points, 20, 25 points is where I don't think he will be falling back even farther. I think he might have an up year again, but 20 points would be a reasonable expectation from him. Offensive defenseman, puck moving defenseman. I mean, he can be good, but I don't know. He has a point to prove, considering he had a good year in Timrå and then bad year in Leksands. So where is he going now with Helge? All right, let's go to Nikola Pasic. Surprisingly, Nikola Pasic decided to move on. He's moving home. Gislaved is just outside Jönköping, so it makes sense in that way. But yeah, he's been around. He was in Luleå and then Malmö and now HV71. But one key part in this is that Malmö's former GM moved to HV71, and he very much likes Pasic, and Pasic was not going to fit in our top 6 anyway in Malmö, so it made sense to move him on for both teams. So overall, good business for both sides. We get rid of a player that would otherwise not be playing where he should be. He should be a top 6 player. He would be playing in the middle 6 probably for Malmö, if that, considering that we acquired players for the top line. But yeah, HG71, good player. I think he can do even better than he did last year. 24 points is I think he can reach the 30-point mark if he has a good season. 30, 35 points is definitely possible for him. He's not in his prime yet, so give him a couple more years and he will be doing 35, 40 points probably. I'm just sad that it's not going to be in Malmö that he does that. But we have better players coming in, so. Moving on, Alexei Heponiemi. And as a Florida fan, I only remember this guy because he was one of our hopes for the future, but he never really panned out. He never really truly got going on the NHL level. Just couldn't do it. He's been in Sweden once before, in Hockeyallsvenskan. He was loaned out to Modo Hockey. Scored 14 points in 16 games. So he struggled on the NHL level and did okay on the AHL level. 17 points in 22 games in his first year in the Swiss League. 18 points in 37 games, however. Not quite as impressive, because you have another 15 games and only one more point. So, but there could be a lot of reasons why that is. All I'm seeing is the numbers. What I would expect him to be a 25, 30-point player in the SHL if he plays a full season. He's only playing. He's been injured, I think. He's only been playing like half a season. Or just over a half a season. So hopefully he can stay healthy, and we'll see what heights he can reach on the SHL level. But yeah, for me he's a prospect flop, unfortunately. Moving on to Lukas Rusek. He's played all his life in Czechia until he moved to North America, played with Buffalo. Did great last year, 42 points and 72. I mean, okay, maybe not great, but he did okay in the AHL. And before then, he did very well, 41 points in 51 games. Played 15 games at the NHL level, only 2 assists. That's not very impressive. But at the SHL level, I mean, he's from Czechia, so he's well versed with the bigger rink. He'll have a little bit more space to create plays here, so could be another 30-point guy. We'll see. He's 26. He's just now entering his prime as well. So, yeah, playmaker. Yeah, he's gonna have the space to play make on a bigger rink. So, should be interesting to watch. But there's a lot of flop warnings here. It's quite unreliable. Bringing in Czech players. Yeah. Well, I guess it's going to be up to him to show what he can do at the SHL level. So, let's move on to. Do we have anyone else they acquired? Yeah. Just a side note, Jonathan Ang was highlighted as a potential flop risk because now everyone knows what he wants to do, and that is going to be a lot more covered. But my argument against that would be that now he will have a better team around him, and potentially, if he gets covered, there's other players that will be able to use that space. Because the problem is, if you cover one particular player away from the game, that takes you out of that leaves space for other players, right? So I would say yes, he might not score as many points as he did, but him just being a threat and being covered means more space for other players that are just as skilled and can there's plenty of skill in this team. Not gonna lie, the problem will be the defense. I think problem will be the defense. They've acquired Lassi Lehtinen from Mudo. That's one I forgot. He did well in Mudo. He was very um, particularly against Malmö. He was very very good. I don't know why, but and they got Hugo Alnefelt and Fredrik Dickov. Both are very good. They're all very young too. I don't know what the idea is with having 3 goalies on their main roster. I guess we'll see. But yeah, interesting, but will it pan out? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't quite think that all this skill will be helping them. Like, they need some defensive guys. Defensive help is going to be the difference. Moving on to Leksands IF. What has happened in Leksand? Leksand has Marcus Gidlöf, Jakob Hellsten, 2 very, very young goalies. Matt Cato, Anton Johansson, Victor Johansson, both very young as well. Jonas Flyttinen. This is a very, very young team. Their oldest guy on the defense is 30 years of age. Most of these guys are like 21, 22, 24. Like, Olle Strandell, apart from Matt Cato, Olle Strandell is like the second oldest guy, and he's 25. That's what strikes me. This is a very, very young team on the defensive side of things, and in net. On the offensive side of things, they have Petr Cehlárik. They brought in Gabriel Fortier and Andrew Kadali. Andrew Kadali is a very young guy. Fortier is only 25. Marcus Karlberg is only 25. Jon Knuts is one of their oldest players is Jon Knuts. He's 34. Lucas Vejdemo. Nolan Stevens is a new acquisition, so have a look at him. He played with Södertälje last year in Hockeyallsvenskan. Scored 22 goals, 30 assists for 52 points in 49 games. So he was over a point a game player in the regular season. Looks pretty solid. Good acquisition from Leksand. Kalle Östman, Max Verino. Max Verino, we know very well what he can do. He's very, very talented. But yeah, this is a very, very young team. The average age is 25. Holy moly. I think that could be to their detriment. There's a lot of skill and a lot of will, but is there enough experience on this team? I don't know. I don't think there is, if I'm honest, but this is going to be an exciting team to watch for sure. Um, Interesting. And they have a new coach, Johan Hedberg. And Hedberg is known for bringing up and developing talent. So maybe he can get this team to steamroll every team in the league. I don't know. We'll have to see. It really depends on how many pan out. They have quite a few, like two North Americans, one from Switzerland. Quite a few younger players off the defensive side of the Swedish. But I guess we'll see. Very young team, interesting team. We'll see if Johan Hedberg can get this team steamrolling, and that will be very interesting to watch. All right, let's move on to Linköping. Linköping HC. So they got rid of. I don't even remember his name anymore. He was supposed to be replacing. Actually, you know what? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Fuck, I can't remember his name. Okay, let's go back 1 year then. So before the last season, they acquired Christian Heljanko. Okay, let's preface this, right? So last year, I was like, okay, Christian Heljanko, he's going to replace. If we go back 2 years, they had a absolute monster of a player, Marcus Högberg. He was their monster goalie. He was so good, and they acquired Christian Heljanko to replace him. Right. The problem here, if you compare them, one is a huge, absolutely fucking monster of a goalie in size and very agile too. On top of that, and one is a very small goalie, or at least under average size goalie, right? And I was like, you can't expect Heljanko to play as good as Marcus Högberg. That's just not going to work. And what happened? Christian Heljanko was shipped off to the German league after 21 games. 888 save percentage, 7-12. I'm just gonna say it. I was right. I was right. And there were there were other people on Twitter saying I was so wrong and blah blah blah. And I was like, well, looking at the differences between the two goalies and the not improved defense of the team in front, I was like, yeah, no, this is not going to work out for Heljanko. And here we are. So let's look at current day Linköping. They've acquired Valtteri Ignatju. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but he's Finnish. So another Finnish goalie. He's much bigger size, as you can see. More similar in size to Marcus Högberg. He's not played. I mean, do you count one game in Västervik? I don't think so. He played in Mestis, which is the second league in Finland. Very nice numbers there, but how does that compare? I don't know. Again, he played in the AHL 28 games, 892 save percentage. Not very. I mean, it's a good record, 14-9-3, but can you really put any like, can you determine anything from these numbers? I don't know. I don't think so. Very unsure of him. Very much unsure of him. What has he performed in from before? Not much. Not much. So it will be stepping up to the plate, trying to do what Helyanko couldn't, which is basically fill the big shoes of Högberg, because Högberg was an absolute fucking monster. And Jesper Mierenberg, I'm sorry, but I'm not impressed. To be honest, I am not impressed. 13-14-0 record. I'm not impressed. Yes, he 913 save percentage is good. 237 GA is good, but he's been a backup. That's what he's been. Let's be real. He's been a backup. Is he going to be a 1B or 1A goalie? We'll see. We'll see. He's been the backup or rotational goalie, I guess. He became sort of like the 1A when they shipped Helyanko off. That's why he played more than he probably have been before. Like you can see here, 12 games, 13 games. That's what he was supposed to be playing. He's a backup goalie. That's why he's had decent numbers. But can he play like 35, 40 games this season? I've not been impressed with him before. So I guess we'll see. I mean, maybe I'm a bit harsh. I don't know. We'll see what he can do and what the Finnish guy can do with the weird name Newell Massot. I think he's their third goalie that's going to be loaned out, I guess, or something along those lines. Yeah, he's going to be loaned out to Hockeyettan, similar to how Malmö loaned out Blomgren. So it's going to be their third starter, their third goalie, third string goalie. Looking at the defensive core here, they brought in Max Martin. 25 years of age, decent size on him. He played in Mura last year. He also played 12 games with Linköping last year. Okay, didn't realize. So he's basically just a continuation from last year. He was a pretty late acquisition considering he played 12 games. So that must have been like January-ish. 7 points in those 12 games. Pretty good for a defenseman. So that's interesting. Very interesting. Let's look at. Do we have again? This is a pretty young core, like 25, 22, 23, 19. I mean, you have Rasmus Rissanen, you have Theodor Lennström, Oskar Fantenberg, but is he injured? I mean, it feels like he's injured a lot. So, and David Bernat is a new acquisition from Muro. Was a solid player for them. 32 points in 51 games. Solid player. He's always a threat from the blue line. So, power play specialist, offensive defenseman. Yep. So he's going to be replacing. I guess he's going to be replacing Avalid. Or I don't know who's he's going to be replacing, but he's going to be a threat from the blue line. That's for sure. Pretty okay defense. Maybe a bit young. Like apart from Oskar Fantenberg and Rasmus Rissanen, like most of these guys are very young. So we'll see. On the forward side, they have Christopher Ehn, Remi Elli, Adam Hofbau. I think he was there last year. I'm not sure. Oliver Johansson is a new guy as well. I think Fredrik Karlström. Did he come this season? Yes. Okay. So Fredrik Karlström, 27 years of age, returning to Sweden after being gone for 4 seasons. His career high in the NHL was with the Texas Stars, 44 points in 72 games. So he can score goals, that's for sure. half a point a game player in Bridgeport Islanders. They're not very good, so that's not surprising at all. He can score goals. And he's a centerman. He's pretty good size as well, so interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how he performs. He performed at half a point a game clip last season he was here, but he was much younger then. So he was like 20, 21 years of age at that time. So it's hard to judge. A lot has happened. So let's have a look at the others. Eskil Bakke Olsen, again a young player. William Prus, Ty Ratty, Nick Shore are both very known at this point. 32 years of age, both of them. They have a lot more experience on the forward side, I will say. So maybe that will help. Robin Kovac, is he coming back? Was he here last year? I don't remember. He was here last year. He scored 38 points in 51 games. Damn. Okay. That's good. That's impressive. -4 though. That's yeah. I don't know about that one. Johan Södergran. I think I recognize that name from Modo. Yes, he played with Modo last year. 24 points in 50 games. Half a point a game clip. Pretty decent. I think he's more of a power. Yeah, he's a power forward. Big size guy. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what to make of this. Top 8, probably. We'll see. We'll see. Moving on to Luleå. They have the same goalie tandem in net as they had last year when they won the gold, when they won the championship. Juha Lassinantti and Mateusz Wald. They have basically reacquired Oskar Engsund. They have Fredrik Allard, Erik Gustafsson. They have Kut Kansalo. He's a new player. He's never played in Sweden. He's played in Boston University NCAA and then turned back to Liga, where he's been playing with Asset and then Helsingfors and then Kiekko Espoo, where he scored 18 points in 56 games. Is he a defenseman? Yes, he is. So 18 points is actually pretty decent considering he's big dude. It looks like he's more of a two-way guy than an offensive guy because he only scores 2 goals. But maybe he can be deployed differently in the SHL. We'll see. Interesting. On the forward side, they have Pontus Andreasson, Jonas Berglund, Mattias Bromé, Einar Emanuelsson. Filip Eriksson is a younger guy, 20 years of age, that they brought in. And then they have, what's that? Australia? Interesting. Very interesting. They have quite a few younger guys here. David Granberg, Isak Hedqvist, Jakob Izvozniak was a absolute sensation in the junior category last year and was picked up in the second round of this past draft by Vegas Golden Knights. He performed at a 57-point pace over 40 games. That's crazy. And he scored only 2 points in 13 games in the SHL. But you have to remember, this guy's what, 17? Yeah, it was 17. It was born in Adelaide in Australia. That's crazy. Going from Australia to Luleå. quite a difference. All right. So what can we expect? I don't think we can expect much. This is going to be his first full season. Maybe 20 points, 25 points. half a point a game would be reasonable if he plays sheltered minutes. Let's go to Heikki Leides. So one thing I note is this team is another older, like the average age is 27. So I can already tell this is a team that they're going for a repeat. They're definitely going for a repeat. They have sprinkled in a few young guys, but most of these guys are at their prime, or in their prime, or just over their prime, but with good experience. Um, so I wouldn't be surprised if they repeat, to be honest. Um, and I mean, Joel Lassinantti have been great for 5+ years, and he's only going to get better. He's only 32 at this point, and I don't know, 4 more years at least of high quality goaltending. Luleå is looking very good. Very, very solid. Good core. Sprinkle in Finnish players, one or two North Americans, but mostly Swedish players and Finnish players. And they have a Finnish connection up there anyway. It makes a lot of sense. Heikki Leides is 32 years of age. Good size on him, center. He's played in Liga all his life except for a USHL Tri-City Storm more than a decade ago, and now he's coming to SHL after scoring 39 points in 60 games, which is a career high, I think. Yeah, this is last year was his best season in the Liga ever in his career. So he's coming from a career high year and coming to the champions. We'll see how that goes. All right. Moving on from Luleå. We're not going to talk about my team because we've already gone through our roster in a separate video. We're going to go to our worst rivals instead, Rögle BK. What do they have? They have Arvid Holm and Kristoffer Rifalk. Not bothered, to be honest. Not worried. Gregor Bieber, 18 years of age. Not really going to be a factor too much. I'm interested in Friedman and Ladu. Let's have a look at these guys. Mark Friedman is a Toronto, Ontario, Canada native. On the shorter side of things as a defenseman. Never played in Europe before, so he's going to have a bit of a shock of the bigger ice. That's going to be interesting to see if he can handle it. Right shot defenseman, 29 years of age. He's got plenty of experience, but again, I think the lack of experience on big rink can be a factor with these guys. Let's have a look at Paul Ladu. Ladu, I think he played with Muro. Yes, he did. 17 points in 50 games. It was -7. Scored 0 points in the 6 relegation games. Bigger body, defensive defenseman, PK specialist, right shot. So he's not a point scorer. He's a defensive defenseman, a defensive pillar, you could say. I think it's hard to judge when you come as a defensive defenseman. You come from a place where you have a team around you that is not very good. It can be very difficult to play solid defense individually. So I think he can do much better in Rögle if he gets a good start. If he gets, I mean, he does have a decent roster around him. Kalle Schelin, Filip Johansson, Mattias Göransson. These are all guys we've seen before. Let's have a look at their new players on the forward side of things. Carson Kuhlman, Lubos Horki, Linus Sjödin, Isak Solberg. Did I? Nope. Isak Solberg. And Simon Säter. I don't know how. Säter, maybe. I don't. Does Z really confusing me. Also, let's have a look. Daniel Saw is injured. Head injury, expected to miss entire season. Okay, so head injury, I would assume that is a concussion. He still has symptoms, I guess. Very, very tragic. Nothing I would wish on my worst enemy. They still have Dennis Everberg, Leon Bristedt, Anton Bengtsson, Josh Dickinson. This is a very good team. Very good team. Okay, let's have a look. Carson Coleman. 29 years of age, decently sized winger. Never played in Sweden, did play last year in Luleå, did 46 points, 21 goals in 60 games, was a +7. But in the playoffs, he played 11 games and only did put up 3 points. That's lackluster, to say the least. So I guess you could say either he's going to be like a 45, 50 point player again in Sweden, or he might dip a little bit because of Liga being a little bit more offensive minded than the SHL is. And then it will be very much stepping up to the plate in playoff scenarios where Rögle have struggled in recent years. That's going to be, he needs to change that. He needs to put up more points when it matters the most. It's one thing putting up a lot of points in the regular season, but you have to perform in the playoffs. That is, you don't get many chances to do it. So that's going to be interesting. Carson Coleman, definitely an interesting player to watch. Lubos Hockey, he is 27 years of age from Czechia, played all his life in Czechia and then Liga 2 years ago, and then last year he came late in the season to Rögle. Okay, so he played 9 games, scored 6 points, 4 goals in 9 games. That's impressive. Okay, 31 points in 47 games, 32 points in 60 games. Again, pretty hard to judge. 6 points in 17 games in the playoffs. Interesting. What can he put up in points in a full season? 30, 35 points, I guess. If he has that kind of... What is 6 through 9? Let's have a look. That's a 0.66 points a game average, so 0.66 times 52, that's 34 points. So around 30 to 35 points should be expected from him. We'll see if he can deliver that. Linus Fodin, did he play? Oh yeah, he's been playing all his life in Rögle. Okay, never mind. For some reason he didn't have a number, so I was like, this guy is from their junior categories. We'll skip that. Now this guy is coming from okay, so he's originally from Ängelholm, and he played with Västerås in Hockeyallsvenskan last year. He was loaned out. 12 points in 25 games. That's half a point a game clip. That's pretty decent. Can he do it on the SHL level? So far, he's scored, 4 points plus 1 point. So 5 points total in the SHL in his life. In a total of 45 games. Not great. But he might be just a two-way guy, defensive center. He's a big guy. PK specialist. Yep. I mean, could be interesting. Could be. He's only 19 too, so we'll see. Actually, he is from Helsingborg. that makes sense though. That's the nearest city over, so makes a lot of sense. Um, right. I think that's it for Rögle. Rögle haven't changed a whole lot. The average age is 26.7. So they have a few younger guys, a few older guys. Most of them are around 26, 27. Right, let's move on from Rögle. Skellefteå. They have acquired Jani Lampinen on the goalie side of things. He played in Mestis, which is second tier, and then he played with Mura in Hockeyallsvenskan last year. He had one shutout, 11 wins, 14 losses, 2.53 goals against average, 911 save percentage. So again, not a great record, but at least a decent enough save percentage and a decent enough goal against average to recognize that he's a good goalie at the Hockeyallsvenskan level. Now, he's going to have to prove himself at the SHL level, which is a different beast. But that's really encouraging. And then they obviously have their older goalies, Gustav Lindvall and Linus Söderström. Both of them have been struggling with injuries. So it makes sense that they have a third goalie. They might loan him out. I'm not sure if they will at this point, but running three goalies through the season is a little bit risky because if you don't have injuries, you're just wasting him away. You don't give him any game time. Uh, Rasmus Bergqvist, young player from their academy. He played with Södertälje one game, didn't score any points, but yeah, he's been in the J20 for the last 2 years, and now he's being brought up to the men's team. Otherwise, it looks like it's the same. Victor Gran might be a new acquisition. Let's have a look at him. Yes, so he played with Södertälje in Hockeyallsvenskan last year, 18 points and 25 points last 2 years. Was loaned to Skellefteå for 2 games last year, didn't score any points, and now he's permanently in Skellefteå. Victor Gran, 26 years of age, decent puck moving two-way defenseman. Nothing really to say about it. Max Krogdahl, Norwegian from... Yeah, so he played with Östersund, Västervik, and Djurgården last year. And then now he's moved up. He did pretty okay in only 2 points. What is this? Oh, he's a defensive defenseman. He's more of a stay-at-home defenseman, I guess. Big body, right shot. Okay. So 2 points in 38 games though is pretty impressive that he doesn't score more assists than that. But plus 10, so apparently he's very good defensively, considering. But yeah, Skellefteå is getting a new defensive defenseman. Okay. Let's move on to. I think most of their defensive core, apart from them, is the same from last year. They have acquired Mikkel Agard from Modo. He scored 19 goals and 33 points in 52 games last year. Same thing as last season before then. So you can see it's actually quite interesting. You can see he ramped up through Hockeyallsvenskan, had a career high 29 goals. I think that's a career high. 29 goals in 50 games. That's insane. Absolutely insane. Scoring machine. Then he dropped off, so like half of the goals disappeared from Hockeyallsvenskan to the SHL. Half of the goals. That's pretty interesting. And he didn't. He scored only three more last year. So the comparison, like that is one way to measure the difference between Hockeyallsvenskan and SHL in defense. In a defensive measure, is about half the goals disappear. So if you go from Hockeyallsvenskan to the SHL as a scoring winger, about half your goals disappear. That's interesting. That's something I've wondered before. Like, what is the actual difference between scoring goals in Hockeyallsvenskan and scoring goals in the SHL? About half the goals disappear. Okay. He's a very good player. He's a very good player. Sniper, net front presence. Yep. 29 years of age, so he's still in his prime. I guess we'll see if he slots in well with Skellefteå, which is a different kind of club than Muru is. That's for sure. Um, let's have a look at Lars Brygman. They acquired the former Red Hawk, Lars Brygman. They acquired Oliver Okuliar. Victor Lars, I don't recognize that name. Jonathan Davidsson, I do recognize that name, but I'm not sure that he played. And they got Victor Fanboy. From Växjö. Yeah, he's from Malmö originally. And then but he played only J18 Elite, and then he moved to Växjö and played in their junior category. And he won. Did he win a trophy? I don't think he did. No, he did. He did actually. This 2023, he did. Scored 18 points 2 years ago, and then dropped off to half of those points last year. Not sure that was his fault though. Like he's a defensive two-way center. He's only 22 years of age. So he's gonna be a solid like third line and fourth line centerman for Skellefteå, I think. Jonathan Davidsson, did he play? Yeah, he did. Okay. Okay, he just didn't score very many points. Victor Lars, he played with Kalmar. He's played with Kalmar the last 4 years, and he doubled his production from 2 years ago until last year, from 17 points to 30 points. Very impressive. And most of that was actually his goal production. Look at that, 5 goals to 17 goals. Okay, so he's from Ronneby, energy forward speedster. Okay, interesting. I wonder whether they will deploy him as a centerman or a right winger. Oliver Okuliar from Slovakia. He's played all his life in Slovakia and Czechia, and 1 year in Liga with Saipa, and then he played with Charlotte Checkers last year, 41 points in 69 games. Okay, interesting. 119 penalty minutes. Holy moly. He must have had fights. That's crazy. He's not too big of a guy, too. 187 centimeters, but jeez. 119 penalty minutes. Okay, so he takes a lot of penalties, I guess. I wonder if those are like fights or if those are like stick like trippings and slashings and stuff, or if that's body on body, like he's just like boarding and charging and stuff. I wonder what kind of penalties he takes. But yeah, interesting. Is he a 41 point player in the SHL? Probably not. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that. Probably not. But if he can score like 25 points in 52 games, like half a point a game clip, pretty good. pretty good. Let's have a look at Lars Brygman. He still have that iconic photo of him in the Malmo jersey. So let's go back a little bit. All right. So he played with Leksand, and then he played with Asplöven, and then he moved to Malmö and played with Panton. He did really well. Got loaned to Malmö because we had injury issues. Did okay. And then he played with Malmö for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. 21, 13, 27, 20. So he was very much up and down player, but he also was injured for like half the season in 2018, 2019. When he was playing full seasons, he was a 20 to 25 point guy, right? And then his last year with us, he was not very good, and we were not very good. But he only scored 10 points, 7 goals in 41 games. That's not very good. Then he moved to Liga to Pelicans, and he absolutely fucking popped off. He was the captain of the Pelicans last year. 49 points in 52 games. He was almost a point a game player. Sure, it wasn't a team that was in a relegation, but were they in relegation? That's crazy. I thought they were doing pretty well. Okay, well, that's beside the point. Anyway, he popped off completely. 49 points in 52 games. So I'm not sure what to expect of him in the SHL, to be honest. Is he a 30-point player? Maybe. I mean, he's good for 10 goals in the SHL, and then whoever plays with him, like, he's a good passer. He's a like it, when everything else doesn't work, he just drives to the net and uses size, like it says here, and I've seen it live. So, and he's a very team loyal guy, and yeah, he is a very good player. He just needs some other players around him. Um, Clearly, because he completely popped off the last 2 years in Liga. So it's going to be interesting to see him again in Swedish hockey with Skellefteå. That's going to be very interesting for sure. Sam Forsfjell is undisclosed injury out for the season, so he's completely out for the whole season. They do have some other young players that I don't know anything about. But yeah, I mean, Skellefteå looks pretty solid again this year. So will be a very interesting season. Andreas Jonsson, Jonathan Jonsson, Rickard Hugg, Jonathan Davidsson, Lars Brygman, Mikael Ågård, Victor Lars, Oskar Lindberg, Walter Lindberg, Per Lindholm, Oskar Rolé. Yeah, solid team. I think this is a top 4 team again. It's gonna be tough. All right, moving on to Timrå. Okay, I think these are the same goalies that they had last year. They have a big injury, herniated disc, out indefinitely on Tim Eriksson, which is a big loss for them. Simon Forsmark, obviously a young player that Carolina Hurricanes are hoping for. Alphonse Frey, Ilari Kappanen. I think they have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players, 5 very young players on their lineup, on their roster, I should say. And they have Linus Nassane, Lucas Pila, Emil Didrik Strömberg. Is he also injured? Undisclosed injury, expected back early April. Okay, so he's going to be out for most of the season. Paz Svensson is also older. But again, this is a pretty young core, like 28, 25. Like both Didrik Strömberg and Tim Eriksson are both out. So it's like Per Svensson is the only older guy that is like there. Interesting. Okay. Moving on to the guys here. So two very young guys, Eddie Janborg and Linus Eriksson. And then they have Jeremy Boyce, Jonathan Dahlén, Sebastian Hartman, Anton Heikkinen is new from Skellefteå, I believe. Yeah, so he scored 29 points in 52 games last year. Pretty good speedy winger. Let's see who they still have Anton Lander, Ludvig Levinson, I don't recognize that name. David Lilja, I don't recognize that name either. Vali Valterholm is from Modo. I do believe that's, or am I confusing myself here? Did he play? Yeah, okay. So he played 2 years ago with Modo and then he moved to Timrå. Okay, my bad. Let's see. David Lilja, he's played with Luleå in the SHL and was loaned out to Hockeyallsvenskan. Bottom 6 guy, I would presume. Ludvig Levinson, he played with Mura in Hockeyallsvenskan last 2 years, 22 points and then 29 points. So he had a big lift in goal production here. You can see the biggest difference is 4 goals versus 10 goals. So if he can, yeah, he's probably good for like 5 goals, 7 goals, something like that. If he progresses, but he's very young still. I'm not very young, but like he's still not in his prime yet. 24. They still have Magnus Pääjärvi, Anton Vedin. This is if they can get some things to click, then pretty solid team. Marcus Westfeldt, I think this is a new guy from Färjestad, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so he played the last 3 years with Färjestad. 17 goals, no, 17 points, 19 points, and 11 points. So he had a big drop off. That's the biggest difference. But the big drop off was actually his assist production from the year previous. Okay, let's look at Växjö. Växjö lost their long-term number 1 goalie and brought in Ludvig Persson. He had a good year in Brynäs last year as a one. I mean, he only played 23 games. That's like half a season. So let's say he was a 1B then, I guess you could say. But he had a 1.75 goals against average, 9.25 save percentage, 2 shutouts, 14-6 record. He didn't do very well in the playoffs that he played. Like 8.79 is not very impressive. But regular season numbers, I think he can be a solid starter in Växjö. He's only 25 too, so he's going to get better. Decently sized body as well, so should be interesting to watch. And then they still have Adam Elman, who's the same age, roughly the same size as well. They still have Brian Cooper, Giutari, Petr Granberg from last year when they acquired him from Skellefteå. Kevin Israelsson is a new name for me. Keegan Lowe is new in. I think Keegan Lowe is new in. Wait, why is it? I don't want to sort on that. I want to sort on the. Now it's not showing me positions. Okay, let's rewind here. Let's try again. Växjö. Right, Kevin Islason. Keegan Lowe, I think, is a new player for this particular team, but I'm not sure. Sometimes the numbers they show, even though it should be. Elias Hussein, Leo Salim Valenius. Okay, Kevin Islason. 20 years of age, big body, right shot, defenseman. He has been in their junior category and was loaned out last year to Vimmerby and to Karlskrona in Hockeyettan and Hockeyallsvenskan respectively. That's the second and third tier of hockey. He played also 11 games in the SHL. Didn't score any points. Didn't have any minus either. Interestingly, looks like a defensive defenseman, if I'm honest. Might be that I'm wrong. Maybe he can. Maybe he will show a different side of himself. But looking at this, he doesn't score very many points. Yeah, maybe a two-way. We'll see. He's only 20 years of age. Keegan Lowe, didn't he play for? Oh, he did play for Växjö last 3 years. Oh my god. Okay, my bad. My bad. Elias Hussein, did he come from? No, he's also been here. Damn it. Why am I not recognizing these guys? So Leo Salin Valenius, didn't he play with? He did actually play SHL hockey last year. He scored 5 points in 16 games, and then he was loaned out to TPS and to Nybro Vikings. Scored about the same clip of like 6 points in 14 games, 3 points in 7 games. So he's like 0.3, like 20 point, 15 to 20 points at the SHL level. He's only 19, and he's very much going to be going to San Jose Sharks. He's already signed his entry level deal. So, but he's loaned out to Växjö Lakers for this year, as is pretty common. Pretty common that the NHL teams loan out their players back to the team where they were before. Okay, so they don't seem to have any real new players. They're just brought up younger players through their system on the defensive side of things. And Reed Gardiner and Ludwig Nilsson and Emily Suomi, 3 forwards that are new. So 29 years of age, 180 centimeters. He's played in the German league and the second German league, 74 points in 45 games. Holy moly. And then Liga for 4 years. And he scored at a 55-point pace in 60 games with Capit. But they didn't reach playoffs. That is nuts. So you score 55 points, but you're still a -3. That is, I don't know. That is fucking crazy. That is crazy. He's almost a point a game player over 60 games. So we'll see. I guess the biggest question mark will be, can he play a decent defensive structure? Because Växjö will be demanding that of him. That's for sure. All right. Let's see. Ludwig Nilsson. Where did he play? He played with Växjö the last many years, so let's ignore that. Emeli Suomi, 29 years of age. He's played all his life in Ilves for more than 1.5 decade, essentially, if you include all the seasons in juniors. basically a full decade from 2015 to 2025 he spent in Ilves. He scored 40 points in 43 games, 16 goals. And before then he scored even more, 59 points in 58 games. I think if he can score like at a half a point a game clip, like 25 points. He's a center and a left winger, is what he's listed at. So interesting guy. Definitely interesting. Gonna be interesting to watch him. Felix Robert, did he join last year or this year? I'm not sure. I don't remember. No, he did join last year. 21 points in 51 games. Yeah, that's usually what happens. So Dennis Rasmussen, Ludwig Nilsson. Who else is new? Carl Henriksson. Did he join last year? Yeah, he joined last year. Fuck. Well, I guess they have mostly the same guys as last year. Manuel Ågren. Well, I guess. Oh, Lucas Elvenes. He must be new. Yeah, so he's new from Leksand. So Lucas Elvenes played with Rögle, moved to North America, came back, played with HV71, then moved to Leksand after only 3 games played. Interesting. And then played 2 more years with Leksand, 37 and 30 points respectively, although he was played with injuries. But he's definitely a playmaker if you look. A lot more assists than goals. But yeah, don't know what to say much about him. Decent guy, decent player. He knows what the SHL needs from him. So let's move on to the last team of the SHL in alphabetical order. Örebro. They had the same pairing as last year, Jonas Arntzen and Jonas Enroth. 27 and 37 years of age, so decently different. Age difference there is good. Do they have any new players? Theodor Hallqvist, Filip Berglund, Gustav Paxton. I don't remember which. I don't remember which guys are new. Luke Martin. Yeah, so Luke Martin came over from North America to Liga, scored 47 points in 56 games, and then 49 points in 60 games. So about the same clip of pace and points with Helsingfors. And now he moves to Örebro. So we can see here, so he scored 13 goals. I would say 8 to 10 goals, I guess. He looks like he's a big playmaker. So he's from St. Louis, Missouri. Right shot defenseman. I think a half a point a game pace is very good for a defenseman. Looks like he's pretty solid. David Quenwell, did he join last year or this year? Not sure. Yeah, he joined last year. Pretty solid team, to be honest. Patrik Puistola, Milton Oskarsson, Kristoffer Mustimäki, Sean Malone, Kalle Kossila, Patrik Karlqvist, Glenn Gustafsson, Melvin Fernström. Melvin Fernström. Is this a new player or a young player? Okay, so he comes from the junior academy. Svante Sjödin, Noah Stan. Most of these guys have played here before. I think. Let's have a look at their transfers. Sean Malone, Luke Martin. Teemu Turunen, Sampo Ranta, Ruben Rafkin. Ruben Rafkin is not this year. Ego Polin, Teemu Turunen. So yeah, so let's have a look. So Sean Malone, he played all his life in North America until he joined 2 years ago with the SHL Tigers in Switzerland. Scored 37 points the first year in 51 games, then scored 30 points in 39 games. And now he's joining Örebro. So pretty good point clip there. I mean, like 0.7 points per game average, something like that. Pretty good. Should be a decent point scorer in the SHL as well. Teemu Turunen. He's played all his life in Finland, made an exception for 2021 in HC Davos, then came back to Finland, played Jokerit Kärpät. Kärpät has been his home the last 3 years. Scored 43 points in 41 games last year. So, again, another decent player, 29 years of age, but mostly played in his home country. So that's going to be a interesting transition. If you look at what he performed in HC Davos, he didn't perform that well. Just over half a point a game. I think that's sort of what you're going to have to expect in the SHL as well, like 20, 25 points, maybe 27. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Sampo Ranta, he played with Modo the last 2 years. Did very well. But his production dropped off a little bit this past year. It was a -20. It was a -18 as well. He doesn't really play defense, to be honest. So we'll see if he plays. If he, it was also mentioned on the podcast with Svensson. What is it called? Yeah, there's a renowned podcast here. It was also mentioned that Samparanta might flop because he's going to be in a much tougher system with Örebro. And he's mostly not a team guy. He's mostly like he's creating for himself, basically. So we'll see what happens there. Ego Polin played with Södertälje, so he's a new guy. He's played, put up 27 points, 50 games with Södertälje last year. Probably going to be dropping that down to like 5 goals, 7 goals, something like that. Half the goals in the SHL. So, yeah, young guy from Russia. Actually, was born in Russia, but his nation is Sweden. Interesting. He's offensive forward, playmaker, and speedster. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, that's. I wonder how they will deploy him then. Is he going to fit in the top 6? I'm not so sure about that. So that's going to be interesting to see how he's being deployed. Yeah, very interesting lineup there as well. If we look at, can we go back to the SHL? Like, if we look at the average, what's the average size? Yeah, average height. So the tallest roster is Färjestad. The heaviest roster is also Färjestad. The oldest roster is Brynäs and then Djurgården. And the youngest roster is actually HU71, Leksands, Örebro, and Malmö. Interestingly. The lightest weight is HU71, Frölunda, Skellefteå. The shortest team is Frölunda, HU71, Brynäs, Växjö. Malmö is actually top 3 in that category. That's pretty crazy. Interesting. Experience. I don't know how they calculate experience, but let's just. So we are the second least experienced team in the SHL, apparently. Oldest player will be Linus Claesson, 39 years of age. Tallest is Milton Oskarsson at 2 meters tall. Heaviest is Radim Sohona at 104 kilograms. Lightest is Alexei Hieponiemi at 70 kilos. Shortest is Oskar Lang at 170 centimeters. And youngest is William Håkansson, 17 years of age. All right, well, that was a long video. Very long video. I'm going to put it up into sections so you can have a look at whichever team you want. And I hope you like this video, and let me know what you want to see more of. Please do, and leave a comment what you think of the rosters, and give your predictions if you want. I haven't given a prediction in this video because I need to analyze and think a little bit about it, about what I think is logical. Obviously, logic doesn't really apply to the sport of hockey, but that's all we can do at this time of the season, when we're still in off season. We're still in July. We have no idea. We haven't seen the teams together yet. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye for now.